Hello, this is Terrell. Welcome to this video. We're going to be starting the new motor build for this 2011, whatever, Stink Eye STI. I like to build motors on my kitchen table, so this motor, everything's on here. It's a brand new rod, the other three. I actually just weighed all of them, and they all weigh exactly 572 grams. So all rods are exactly the same weight. We'll go ahead and install them on the crankshaft, get this all done, and then we'll be cleaning the block, clean the pistons, make sure that's all good to go, and then I may be able to get a short block done today. We'll see. Start by breaking these bolts loose on this new rod. This is not going to be very easy. They're always super tight. Oh wow, look at that. That wasn't even tight. Let's see about this. Oh my gosh. They weren't even tight. They're always usually tight. You have to break them loose, but that was nice. I just have to break this loose as far as... All right, next clip should possibly be all four rods on. I'm probably going to do one, actually torquing it down, but obviously putting oil on all these bearings and getting them ready, you know, assembly lube. First rod's done. Gorgeous. A little bit side to side, no in and out. Look at that, boys and girls. We got a built rotating assembly for this STI. This last one rotates. Gorgeous. All right, so the bottom end is all built. I guess the bottom end, the crank and the rods are all put together. Next step would be normally putting the crank and the rods into the block and torquing it all down. But the block's so disgusting that I'm gonna go ahead and clean it really well. See if I can time lapse this. I'm gonna do as well as I can to get this thing back to normal. But I'll show you the before and after pictures right here. This is how they looked before. Not the worst in the world, but definitely not great. Go ahead and clean this all up, make it look all nice. Yeah, I got both of the blocks, all the silicone pretty much cleaned off of them. I'm gonna get all this nastiness off. Show you how they look in just a couple minutes. I time lapse the other block, so I'm not gonna time lapse this one, but let's get everything off of here as clean as we possibly can. That's before. All right, just got done cleaning them. Let me know what you think. Nice and shiny now, tell you what. Cylinder wall's looking nice and shiny now. Earlier I built a EG205 short block, and I'm gonna put the 2.5 short block together. Sealing of block number 2, just using some nice RTV. Alright, she's all siliconed up. My phone's about to die, but I'm gonna drop oil on all these and then drop the crankshaft in and put this together. She's all torqued down and spins by hand. All right, next step on this is gonna be putting one of these on the engine stand. Probably the CJ20, which would be, probably, this is gonna be a separate video, but I'll put that on, drop the pistons in, and then get this block going, drop these pistons in, and then heads on and get both these blocks done, hopefully in the next 6 days. Here's cylinder number 1. I went ahead and cleaned the outsides. There are no cracks or any other issues. It's a forged piston, but still looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and put the ring squeezer on and drop it in. All right, we got cylinder 1 in. End clip in nicely. Move on to cylinder number 3. Alrighty, cylinder 3 is in. And got the wrist pin end clip in and the wrist pin in, so this half's done. And cylinder number 2 pistons in and the end clip. So this STI motor is ready to go on the engine stand. I'm gonna try to get it on tonight, and then slowly but surely get these heads on and get this whole motor built finally. It's very humid, and I'm trying to watch my son so he doesn't drop bolts in places they're not supposed to be. Got lots of stuff to do on this STI today. I got the short block on the engine stand. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the oil pan off. That's how she looks right now. Pretty gross, lots of nastiness in there. I'm gonna get this looking pretty. Next clip you see will be this oil pan nice and cleaned. And got the outside almost cleaned all the way. Inside looking much better. Got the baffle and the pickup all looking good. Gotta bolt these on, get this all sealed up, and then I'm gonna start working on probably getting the heads on this car, because once that's done, the tedious stuff should almost be done. She ain't tight yet, but she's sitting on there. Got O-ring on the bottom of this and O-ring on the bottom of the adapter. Got both adapter pieces on. Gonna tighten that up after lunch. Drop the oil. Alrighty, this is all torqued down. Oil pan next. This had a spun bearing, so I'm gonna replace the oil cooler, but the bottom is basically done now. Currently loose, so I will be taking this thing off and throwing a new one on, but motor mounts are on, oil pan's on. The bottom's basically done now. Alright, head gasket number 1 is on. This is the driver's side. And there's the cylinder head, looks nice and beautifully cleaned and decked. That looks pretty. I made sure all the head studs are all the way down, bottomed out. I'm going to put the washers on, put some ARP assembly lube on, and then all the nuts, and torque them down 30, 60, and 90. All right, just got the 30 and the 60 done. Now I'm working on the 90s. I'll just show you once I get, that'll be the last one right there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll show you once I get to that one. This is gonna be very difficult on camera, but you can see sitting at 90. And see if I can do this, like I said, on camera. Alrighty. Whew. Alrighty, cylinder head for the passenger side is on. Go ahead and make sure all these are nice and bottomed down, or bottomed out, and then put the washers on, and then put some lube on, and then of course put the nuts on and torque them down. And just like that, we have an almost completed long block. I'm gonna be taking this AVCS line off here, and then also the oil one I'll probably take off. I'll put new crush washers in here and in here. And then I'm gonna blow these lines through with brake clean and make sure they're nice and cleaned out and well. Oil pump should be basically next. Coolant crossover, water pump, that kind of stuff. It's getting there slowly. I'm glad it's a long block finally. I'm getting less parts in my garage. I'm gonna slowly get this thing more together. But hopefully you're enjoying watching so far. All right, I have no motivation, so that's why I'm working on this car. We got the STI motor on the engine stand. Showed you last clip. And that O-ring goes right here, just like that. If I get it to stay in there nicely, okay. And we'll go ahead and seal the oil pump, get the oil pump bolts, and get this on nice and tight, and then get the Woodruff key in, and then get the front crank pulley on, and start doing the front of this engine. All right, oil pump is nice and lubed up, or siliconed up. I'm gonna go ahead and install this. Oil pump is on. Remember what I said before? This motor has 10, maybe 20,000 miles on it. This is crazy. Does that look that new to you? This is your coolant crossover pipe gasket. Screwdriver under there, and look at this. It's like hard and flat. I don't think these things were replaced. I think they were just thrown back on, unfortunately. I'm not a fan of publicly blasting anybody. I'm not. But that is insane. This is what I just pulled out of this motor. For reference, if you don't know Subarus, this is what it's supposed to look like. That's what I pulled out of it right there. This is what it's supposed to look like. That's insane. I just got this middle PCV line for the crankcase pressure. It's a brand new one on there. And then I'm lining up all the bolts and stuff for the coolant crossover. Get all this stuff done on here, and then the next step on top will be AC and I guess technically just intake, and of course cleaning both AVC lines. But this is going on nice and smoothly. Woodruff key's been installed. Crank gear is now on and seated. Work on the water pump next. All right, this morning I'm getting the valve cover stuff done. I'm getting all the silicone stuff pretty much taken care of here, so I don't have to use any more of this gasket maker. This side so far I just cleaned the tops, and then I just oiled all the cam lube areas, these guys across the entire bottom. Sorry, not very awake right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and install the exhaust cam and then seal this top piece that's sitting right here. I'm gonna seal this thing up, install it, torque it down, put the backs on, and then clean the valve cover, and then silicone that and get this side done, and then work on the next side. All right, assembling brand new valve cover gasket, clean this valve cover out, and siliconed. So I'm gonna install this, and this side will be basically done. All right, now the driver's side, got everything cleaned in here, lubed up, getting this all nice and siliconed. Just like that, second valve cover's on. She's about perfect as far as clean. And engine is looking nice and shiny. I'm very excited with how this is looking. A lot better than how it came here for sure. So all these metal components, all these banjo bolts and everything, I'm removing all the filters, making sure that they're cleaned out. I'm brake cleaning every single one of them. And then for the pipe that goes actually across on the top of this side, I already sprayed it off. I sprayed the inside of it really well. The outside of it, I gotta get the rest of the grease off, but this had nothing come out of it, no metal. The other side, I think we'll have metal come out of it, but we'll get all that cleared out, make sure we're good to go there. Heads are already cleaned out, of course. And I have all new brand new crush washers, so everything will be fresh for this engine. Just went ahead and took apart these guys, clean them all out thoroughly. There's no more metal, no more nothing in them. Got new gaskets. I'm gonna go ahead and put these secondary AVCS solenoids on, and then the headers should be about next. I'm waiting for oil cooler to show up, and then probably get the timing stuff going soon, all the cam seals and all that, and intake. I don't know if I'm actually gonna put the headers on until the oil cooler gets here, but the motor should be almost ready to go in today, maybe. Valve covers are on both sides, looking nice and pretty. Just clean the tops of the intakes off. I'm gonna go ahead and swap the new turbo inlet in the intake. The old one was gross and falling apart. So I'll be doing that in a few minutes, and then I might get this intake manifold on. Actually, I think I'm gonna put all the timing stuff on first. I'm gonna get that thing done, get the dipstick in, that kind of stuff. Get the tedious stuff out of the way for now. Timing components are all on. Everything's all torqued down. Then we'll go ahead and put the time belt on, and then next clip you'll see it'll be timed, and then I'll put the front middle cover on with the new seals on bottom and top, and the side two covers, and all of the AVCS O-ring seals, all brand new. And then the front will be done. It'll just be the top and the bottom and the back left. I always time these with that one perfectly on, that one perfectly on, as you can see. And then I get this one on, and then this one on, in that order. And then I leave this one off until these are all on, and then I pull this up on top, and then I pull the pin out right there. And now she's timed perfectly. Go ahead and install these covers next. Don't want to forget them. And then the actual timing covers. Here's what the old intake manifold looks like. Yes, I have it on the ground. I don't care right now. I'm going to be cleaning it anyways. I pull this bolt off, take this sensor off, take the other lines off, and then take the side brackets off in case this guy wants to do injectors in the future. Get everything off this and get the new turbo inlet in. Maybe you'll see why I want to replace this. Any reason why at all? Yeah, I don't know why either. There's our new parent one though. Just went ahead and threw the headers on this block. Should have enough room for the oil cooler once I get it in. But at least the headers are on. I think I'm gonna get the turbo one possibly. Maybe even the intake. Get this thing really ready to go back in the car. But yeah, both sides went on nicely. So get this thing zipped down and nice and tight. It looks like a crazy cluster of stuff, but that's how the intake looks normally. So got it back on. I got all the sensors plugged in so far. I'm gonna go ahead and swap out the spark plugs on both sides. Plug the coil packs in. And then we have this pipe left. It's kind of crappy to replace. And then bolt the intake manifold down. There's the new spark plugs. There's the old ones. Seen some better days. They were very rich and oily. Well, she's almost ready to be dropped back in now. Beautiful new turbo inlet, of course. And nothing's bolted on the turbo inlet as far as connectors because I need to put the aero separator in. We got a brand new IAG aero separator. Actually, it's technically used, but it's basically brand new. Gotta get a turbo oil return line, and then once the oil cooler gets in, ready to be dropped in. So I got a lot done today. I'm pretty happy about myself. All right, I just got the rear main seal in on this STI engine. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this service in a couple minutes. I just got a new turbo oil return line on. I'm gonna go ahead and put the turbo on, get this cleaned, installed, flywheel, clutch, pressure plate, and then oil cooler showed up, so I'm gonna go ahead and install that. I might actually wait and do that in the car. I was thinking it have to be like 50 foot-pounds, and I don't know if I can do that with this on the lift, but anyhow, just about ready to go back in the car finally. First STI, we have this really pretty turbo we're gonna go ahead and throw on. Just kidding, I'm not gonna throw an STI turbo on with grease and everything disgustingly all over it. We're gonna go ahead and clean this thing up and then install it. Now she looks almost ready to install. I just touched at the bottom, and looks a lot cleaner though. You can actually read that it says STI on it now, or VF48. We got our fresh throw bearing for this STI. Go ahead and throw this on. Obviously you gotta put this on before the engine goes in. Back of this motor looking beautiful, nice and sealed up. All right, clutch is on, torque down. Beautiful pallet bearing in the inside. Just moved everything over in the engine bay. Unfortunately, as I move this line straight snapped in half. Super old line that's probably crunchy, unfortunately, so I have to replace that. But she's ready to go back in. Like I said, oil cooler. I'm just gonna put it on when I actually get in the car. But let's go ahead and lift this thing up and drop it back in, I guess. Just spent a few minutes cleaning the bottom of this so it looks a little bit better. Go ahead and drop this engine in now. Once I got it to spin, it was slid right in. I'll show you how it looks maybe longer on camera, I'm not sure, but it went in really beautifully. Once I turn that crankshaft, you can see basically almost all the way there. They just need to put 2 bolts in and this thing will suck right in. I've got the top one there tightened, the next one, and then the lower one down there tightened. Before I continue any farther, I'm gonna go ahead and push this towards the firewall, and then see, clicked in. There we go. Now I know I don't have to pull this engine back out. So I'll bring this in the clutch, in the pressure plate. Now I can go ahead and lower the jack down, lower the transmission jack down, and start bolting everything up. Beautiful new oil cooler showed up. Actually has a gasket already in it. I'm gonna go ahead and install this. Got a new bolt down there. This is how the engine bay is looking so far. Got the belts on. Coolant lines I have left on this side is all, and fueling's gotta be all the way on, and then on this side, I gotta get the downpipe on and turbo, but I still need to do the aero separator stuff. Turbo inlet, finish that all off, and then up front, it's pretty much just radiator. Beautiful. Oil cooler is on and nice and tight. All right, now that she's about here, I got the ultra sensor in. Looking nice and fresh, radiator's in, both lines are good. Just need these 2 on. I'm gonna go ahead and install this brand new, I guess I can't say brand new, but used, but more than likely new aero separator. All right, this morning trying to get this STI mostly finished up. I just got the coolant lines in the back, both clamps tight. Got this aero separator routed correctly to the drain. And then, like I said, the coolant lines are on now back there. I need to install the reservoir still. Our biggest issue right now is still this power steering line right here. Need to add a new one and then install the aero separator to there and to the port over there. I just put oil in this thing. It's missing coolant. Right now, working on getting the 3 nuts tightened for the turbo. I got the oil line on top tight and then the coolant line down there tight. So once that's on, I get the downpipe on and then I can lower this car on the ground finally. This video is kind of all over the place, but the power steering hose I showed you broke yesterday. I just pulled it off. I ordered a hose yesterday. It said to be here on the 30th. Look what just showed up. New hose. I'm gonna go ahead and install this thing, get some new power steering fluid in this car, get the coolant and the oil topped off, and hopefully we get our first start this morning. All right, I'm gonna do a crank with the crank sensor unplugged so we can get some oil pressure built up. See how she cranks over. All right, I'm gonna do first start. I just plug the crank sensor back in. We got oil pressure. Let's see how she sounds. And yes, the intercooler is not currently on the car. Oh. Make sure nothing comes out of the turbo. Make sure everything's good there. And the 2000, I think like 13 STI is alive. He's running, no check engine light on. Trying to get some, trying to get it warm, make sure the coolant's bled, and make sure we don't have any leaks, and checking out everything, making sure it's going to be running good for him, and hopefully this thing will be ready to go back to the customer the next day or so.